Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show, playing more Yakuza Kenzan. And let's see what Kiryu gets up to this time. We're gonna load into our file here. And how far are we into the game? 21 saves, 13 hours. I do save a lot. I tend to save every time I find one of those statues, even if there's 4 statues in the same town. I'll go to all 4 statues and save. Just got to experience each one. Okay, I think we're trying to get into the hostess bar, which I'm pretty excited about. We're currently like exploring the city by night, I think is what we're just sort of messing around. The next thing we wanted to do was to actually go to this place. Yeah.その祇園に来たいうことはやっぱ目とit's like ありてこれでおるんかうふふあんたも好きやのhe's saying like I think he's saying something like, did you come here for, this kind of entertainment as well? Like, we seem to have the same interests. Oh yeah, that's the warning I say to everybody before these streams, by the way. As you may have already noticed, this game's not only, Japanese language spoken, but it is also the version. This game was only ever released in Japan, so there's not a single English word in the entire game. All the text and subtitles are also in Japanese, just so you know. But I still don't speak over cutscenes, as always, but I will explain what happened in them after they are over. And after a sufficient amount of time has passed that there's no more story stuff happening. Yeah, this is that info booth that we really loved. Okoshiyasu. I don't know what that really means. Annaya de gozaimasu. It's like, welcome to the info booth. Okyaku-san, Gion wa hajimete kitan desu ka? He's sort of saying like, so it's your first time in Gion, huh? I just learned about that particular modifier that if you say it in a certain way, you can imply that you think that the thing you're asking is the case, rather than just asking it. So he's not really just saying, is it your first time in Gion? He's saying, basically the equivalent of like, so it's your first time in Gion, huh? Like that kind of thing, where it's like he's kind of assuming already that it's our first time. That doesn't mean anything to you, but it's just, I just learned about that, so I'm excited to see it in action. この案内書, is that how he's pronouncing that? で、祇園内のことはすべて案内させてもろてます. Saying basically like you can get all sorts of information about Gion, the goings on inside of Gion in this info booth. さて何ご案内しましょうか? So, what kind of guidance or like guide do you want? Gion ni tsuite, which means tell me about Gion. Gion ni tsuite 教えてくれ. Tell me about Gion. わかりました。Gionについてを教えしましょう。Gion に言うのはAlright, we learned that word last episode. 遊郭ですね。遊郭っていうのは、まあ、男の楽園ですわな。So he's saying like, alright, I understand. I'll tell you, let's talk about Gion as a city. Gion, I guess he's kind of saying like their main thing is like these hostess bars. And what's a hostess bar? Well, it's kind of like a place where guys can have a, sort of let off some steam, like have a good time. The literal translation is that it's a hostess bar is a comfort park for men. Almost like it almost reads like an amusement park, but like it would mean something more like a place where men can sort of like hang out and have a good time. Would that be 今日？いや、長編から、選り優られた、これ力的な、娘がこの楽園に、集まってますが、もうたまりまへんやろ? He's saying like, as for the places that you might, go around, and you can sort of choose between your favorite, I guess what he's saying is you can kind of choose your favorite girl to hang out with, kind of like in in a hostess bar in Yakuza. That's the way you do it. There's a whole slew of them at these places. この娘と楽しい時間が、過ごせるのがアゲヤ. Right, we learned about that. Ageya is like a pawn shop. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me though. Oh, it sort of does. ですね。もちろんこれは、かかりますけどな。その楽しさたるや。What is that word he's using? I feel like I recognize it, but I can't recognize it in his handwriting. I don't know. So I think what he's saying here, in so many words, because I'm missing a couple of these, but he's basically saying like, if I'm getting it correct, if you want to have a good time with these ladies, you might want to stop by the pawn shop and buy them some gifts to like sort of up the energy levels or whatever during your talks. I don't know if that's exactly what he's saying, but something like that. 女の子と仲良くなりたければ、アゲアに行くとよろしい。今おすすめながアザミヤと maybe this would be like 夢ろやの2点ですわ. So he's saying like, again, like if you want to, build up a good relationship, rapport with these ladies, you should go head out to those pawn shops. The ones I recommend are called Azumi, the Azumi store, and also I'm guessing it's pronounced Yumero store, which would be like the Dream Road. Those two shops are kind of like my two recommendations, is what he's saying. あとあんまり大きな声じゃ言えまへんけど、ここには、これもありますね。I forget how this word is supposed to be pronounced. 女優 maybe? 女優に、これ選ぶのをまたおつやで。So he's saying like after that, just make sure that, I think what he's saying is like don't get too like loud and boisterous when you're in these places. And he might be saying something about choosing a different girl. 他にもいろいろな、店や、食事も揃ってますよで、歩くだけでもいろいろ楽しい、時が I don't know how this would be. Is it 過ごせる Maybe 過ごせるのがここ擬音ですね。So you're saying like other than that, there's a bunch of places you can go. Like you can take them to you can go sort of, or I don't think he's not talking about the hostesses at this point. He's just saying you can go to various eateries. You can go walk around and see all sorts of like have a fun time. This is Gion after all, I think is what he's saying. And now he's saying like, what other kind of information do you want? Oh, interesting. So now we can learn about Agaya. We can learn about whatever this is. We can learn about the girl that we're looking for. This is the girl in the kimono. So we should probably ask him about this. I don't know how to pronounce that one word at the beginning. But he's saying, do you see this girl who's wearing this particular kimono? Do you know anything about her? それだけでは何とも言えまへんな。No, I don't think I know anything about that. 他になんか手かかりおまへんのか? I'm not sure what this phrase would mean. What he's asking is like, isn't there anything else hanging in your hands? I think is what he's asking. Maybe is there anything else on your mind? Is that what that's supposed to mean? Or maybe like, do you have any other details about her? Oh, now we get the word for it. Tenjin is the one, and Yujo. Okay, Yujo is the name for the hostesses then. And Tenjin is a particular type. おそらくそのYujoはTenjinだ。Tenjinでか。So she's a Tenjin, or it's a Tenjin you're looking for. それやったら多分、この店とこの他の店、この店主さんでは、so saying like, maybe you could try asking this guy. I'm just gonna guess his name is maybe pronounced Furuya, Koya, something like that. Japanese names I have a hard time pronouncing because they don't use the same pronunciation as the words that have the same kanji a lot of times. 今祇園には3人しか、天神がおらへんし、これですね、この人。So he's saying like there might be 3 people who could be a tenjin. So maybe I think he's saying you should probably go ask this guy about it. この人。その店はどこにあるんだ? So he's saying like this guy, where could I find his shop? このwould this be 大通り? まっすぐ。どんつき? There's no way this could be Don Quixote. If it is, that'd be pretty funny. It can't be though. It's not how you would write it either. どんつきまで行ったとこに、祇園で一番でっかい棚があります。それが、このお店ですね。So he's saying, just giving us directions on how to get there. わかった。すまないな。Thanks for your help. And now he's asking us if we want to know anything else, which we don't. よろしいですか？まだ来ておくれやす。See you, you're all good? Like, see you next time. Is that? Okay. どう調子はどうだい? He's saying like, what's going on? Something like that. This is our guy. I thought he looked like him. I still don't know how his name's supposed to be pronounced, really. Ah. あなた。はいど。まあ、ぼちでんな。So like, welcome back, whatever your name is. あ、あなた。So, I got something for you. こちらの、じさま maybe? この人に行きたい、らしいです。This guy's trying to find the shop owner I just told him about. この人、指目 I've never seen this written like this. のようですわ。I think he's saying like direct him around. I've never seen the word written that way though. どんなこの人遊びでのかい? So you're trying to get to to sort of like hang out with this guy at this shop. この店は祇園じゃじゃあ一番の大店だ。ここもこれチリユだぜ。So you're saying like this shop is the in all of Gion, this is like the biggest and highest quality shop in all of Gion. しかも天神のこれとクリアこれかかるぜ。旦那失礼だが金持ってんのかい? He's saying like basically, are you sure you want to try and do this because it's going to be a mistake if you don't have enough money on you. あんたは? Kiryu's saying, who are you? 俺か。俺はこの店にこれいろいろやってるんだ。Maybe this would be like 分なしもんなしお店に、連れて行くわけにはいかねえからな。He's saying like, I know about all the different shops in town. Like, if you don't, I think what he's saying is like the shops that nobody knows about is what I can tell you about, something like that. Like, basically like unwritten is the word he's using. So I could take you to all the places that like, nobody knows about. Huh. 黄門の前に連れを待たせてある。金ならそいつがたんまり持ってるさ。He's saying like we already went through this whole thing in front of the gate. Like my guy who's with me has all the money. なら旦那はうちの立派な、客だ。今から案内してやるからそのお連れさんの連れてきなよ。And he's saying like Huh. That makes you a pretty good customer then. So, from here on out, I think he's saying that he's going to take us wherever we need to go. 俺は案内所の前で待ってるからよ. So like, if you need me, I'll be waiting in front of this guidance booth. I don't know. Yokatta, something like that. It's like gotcha, basically. Understood. Okay, yeah, so he's waiting. He'll give us a guidance to wherever we're going. Oh, crap. Because, yeah, the guy told us where to go. I just assumed it was going to put a thing on the map, but it didn't. So we actually do have to figure out where to go. So let's go with him. Annai shite aru kara, sono tsure-san no tsurete kita yo. Saying like, from this guidance store I can sort of give you directions to whatever you want. He's saying the same thing. So he's not actually going to give us directions, I guess? He's just waiting in front of the store? Maybe we have to do the mission before he'll actually help us. Let's see if this guy will give us more directions on where to find the place, because I totally didn't pay attention to where he said to go. Oh crap, now he doesn't even tell us anymore. Well, I majorly screwed that up. Well, we can probably see the street names on the map, so we'll take a look at that. Welcome Big Boss 037 to the show. Let's get an exclamation mark high for Big Boss 037. What are you up to today? We are playing Yakuza Kenzan. I don't know that they give... Oh, they do give us street names in this. Okay. How can I zoom in, like, only a little bit? I don't want to be fully zoomed in like that. What do we got? This is our legend. Oh, okay. This will help us, actually. This is where we want to go, is what he's saying. But it says the objective is at the bottom. Let's see what our objective is also. This is also the guidance store or whatever. Yeah. It's a guidance store to all the different hostess bars specifically, is what he's saying. Or that's what the map is saying, rather. So we might have to do the mission that's down near the big gate before we do the other stuff. But first, let's go save it. In case we get... I'm just always anticipating a fight, basically. My mug broke, so now I have to pour the coffee, instead of drinking it out of the mug, I have to pour it into a separate coffee mug. And it always drips, yeah. It's like I gotta concentrate on pouring it now. The company's pretty good though. They sent me a new lid in the mail immediately when I asked them about it, so that was nice. So let's see what happens. I think we're gonna have to go get the guy so that he can then give the money to this big, expensive place. But it won't even let us go in right now. Clearly that's going to be something we do later. And this whole area really does make me think of the Undercity in Yakuza 1, which would be interesting to think if Kamurocho/Kabukicho was built on top of this. I don't know if it really is supposed to be that, though. Do, じゃあ、友情の、店は見つかったか？ Alright, so did you find the, the hostess bar that you're looking for? Ah. So let me say that, 働いている男が案内してくれるそうだ. So the guy working at the, Kiryu saying the guy working at the store, told me about it. これに、is that Tsuite, really? 来てくれ. He's gonna bring me along. そうか. よし。行くとするか. 楽しみじゃのう. This guy seems to, he's not exactly like a normal, we always sort of knew that. He's not really a normal Buddhist priest. But he's saying, alright, let's get to it. Like, I'm looking forward to this. Now he's going to follow us? Yeah, okay, good. So we want to go first to the guy that's going to take us to the thing. It's like a two-step process. Good. I guess what that means is like, thanks for waiting. Kinas Takai saying like, alright, let's get to it. それじゃあ行くか。おいおい、連れの坊さんも、これ、みすぼらしいな。I think what he's saying is like, alright, let's get going. Wait a second, what's going on with this monk guy? Like, what, he might be giving off the wrong vibes or something like that. あんたら本当にちゃんと金持ってんだろうな. He's like, are you sure you guys have money? 逆に、対して is it 対してな、口の、利き? Would that be 利き? Let's say it is. ようじゃの. Saying like, it's basically like, let's just simplify this to an American phrase of like, isn't the customer always right? Something like that. 心配するな。金、ならほれ。この通り待っておる. Saying like, oh, you're really worried, huh? Alright. Here's like, we do have money. Like, let's... it seems like what he's saying is like, wait here. But he wasn't saying wait here, he was saying something else. 俺はどうも、口が悪くてよ。そんなだけ待ってりゃ十分だ. So he's saying like, oh, I'm sorry about that. Me and my big mouth, basically, is the expression. He said like I had a... Yeah, sometimes you can't translate it literally. You got to come up with an equivalency in American English. So he's saying like, me and my big mouth, like, all right, let's, we're done waiting, basically. Like, let's get going. さあ、案内するからついてきてくれ. He's saying like, all right, I'm gonna guide you there. Like, let's go. Oh crap, he's really going. It doesn't seem like we need to follow him specifically, though. Pincushion TV, thank you for the follow. Got an exclamation mark hype. Take these 20 meatballs that you get for following the channel. Use it to buy yourself your very own hostess bar. You can manage it, hopefully, just like in Yakuza Kiwami 2, which was our favorite part of that game. Enjoy your hostess bar and enjoy your stay in the Meatball Marauders. You can type exclamation mark meatballs in the chat if you want to check your channel currency of meatballs, as well as your channel ranking, which is based on how many meatballs you have. Welcome on in. We are playing Yakuza Kenzan, which is a Yakuza game that was only ever released in Japan about samurai times. So, does it? I think that would be Tsuitaze. ここが、この店だ. I still don't know what this, let's actually look up what the name of the store is, because I keep calling it Konomise, which just means like this shop. But that's obviously not the name of it. That's just my placeholder. But since they keep mentioning it, let's take a look. Here we go. But the other thing, he just said like, all right, we arrived. This is the place, and it's called Tsuruya. Tsuruya. What does tsuru mean? Crane. So I don't think that's a literal thing. I think that's actually the name of the store. Tsuruya. Or maybe it's called like the crane, like is the name of the... I don't think that would be the case though, because it wouldn't have ya at the end of it. So it's just called Tsuruya. This is Tsuruya. We arrived. これはまだ俺に、用事がからよ。まあ楽しんでてくれよな。So he's saying like, you know, I think what he's saying is like, you know, I'll leave you from here on out. Like, you know, have a good time, basically. Yo. I wonder how you'd pronounce this. Yo hanashi? Sei hanashi? Hanashi ni natta na. Like basically saying like thanks for the, you know, the tips. Ooh, sore ja na. Alright, see you later. I love that we met that guy. I like that character.
Mai. いい酒、いい場所、いい女。こんないい世界はないの。の。ん？あ。ん？どうした？浮かない顔して。あの天神の踊りが好かんのか？いや、そうじゃないんだ。じゃあどうした？いや、なんというかこういう状況は不慣れで、それにあんたにここまでしてもらうというのもちょっと。なんだお前、そんなことを気にしてたのか。いいんだいいんだ。金はパーッと使う方が気持ちいいだろう。ああ。
先生、ようお越しやす。
まい。美人に継がれる酒は格別じゃ。
お上手。
あんた、この町は長いのか？
はい。もう10年になります。
おお、しかし10年で天神になるとは大したもんだな。
いや、うちなんかまだまだどす。太夫の姉さんたちに比べたら。はい、先生も。
いや、俺は先生などという身分じゃ。
何を言うとるんだ。いいんだ先生で。ここじゃ金を持ってるやつが先生なんじゃ。
そうどす。この町じゃお客様はみんな先生どす。
そうか。
少し酔ったようだわ。わしゃ小便に。
ああ、それやったら誰ぞご案内を。
いいんだいいんだ。あんたはここでこいつの相手をしてやってくれ。
え？
あんたを指名したのはこいつなんじゃ。わしは夜風にでも当たってくるから、ゆっくり楽しませてやってくれ。
あのお坊様、面白いお方やね。
That was a really fun interaction. So I guess this is their type of hostess bar in Sengoku era, or just maybe it's just like a really high end one. It's not like the kind that are in Yakuza 1 and 2, where it's, you know, you're in like a little long hallway, sort of long shop that has multiple booths, where, you know, it's like a bar basically, where everywhere is a booth instead of a seat. So you're in your own place. But basically, like, the general gist, which you probably just got from the body language, is that the priest was loving it and Kiryu's like pretty hesitant. So like, what happened was they were watching her performance, and the priest had like a lot of fun spirited lines that I'm not gonna remember exactly what happened, but basically he said like, you know, it's good music, good sake, good woman in front of us, like life's good, isn't it? And then Kiryu's like, man, I don't know if this is the kind of place that this is the kind of place for me, really. And he was like, what kind of talk is that? You know, like, we have money, like, you're supposed to use money and feel good, you know, when you have money. You know, like, basically, like, it's like any Vegas movie where they go to like a strip club or something, and the one guy's hesitant and the other guy's trying. It's swingers, basically. It's swingers. So the priest guy is like, you know, trying to convince him to have a good time, basically. And then they end up in this room with her where she's pouring the sake for them. And he said a really interesting phrase that I had never heard before, where he said something like, has the road been long? And the way she answered it indicates that the way that question is phrased must mean like, how long have you been at it? Like, how long have you been doing this for? She said, I've been doing it for around 10 years at this point. And I think what he asked was something like, you know, and nobody's ever like kind of like whisked you away or whatever, because that might have been what they're talking about with those like fat cats. Like, maybe once they find a fat cat, that's the assumption, is that person will then take them out of the business and they will like get married or whatever. So she was saying like, no, I haven't found one of those guys yet. I haven't found the right guy or whatever. And then she started pouring Kiryu's sake, and there was like a little kind of like fun interaction where she was calling the priest sensei, which I guess sensei usually used for, like, you guys probably know that you'd use it for a teacher, but you also use it for a doctor, which a lot of people might not know. And then in this context, maybe you'd use it for a priest. I've never heard it for that. But then when she went to Kiryu, she said like, sensei, here you go. And he said like, oh, you know, I wouldn't be called sensei. Like, don't call me sensei. It doesn't fit me. And then the priest was like, no, let her call you sensei. It's fine. And then she said like, oh yeah, at this place we call everybody sensei. So it was a fun thing, because Kiryu, if you remember, is wearing the priest robe. So I guess she kind of assumed he was also a priest, maybe, who happens to carry a sword, I guess. I don't know. But that happened, and then the guy basically, he got up and he said like, I gotta go. I've never heard him, it must be a different word for bathroom I've never heard, but it seemed like he was saying like, I gotta go to the bathroom, like, and she said, oh, well, you know, I'll give you directions. And he was like, no, I'll find it. Like, just, and he like slaps Kiryu on the back and he said like, you know, make sure that, he said something like implying that they, you know, like, let me come up with like the American equivalent of it, or the English equivalent. It would be like something like, basically saying to Kiryu like, don't do anything I wouldn't do, like, have fun, you two. Kind of trying to match them up, I guess. and then now we're here. It was a fun interaction that, you know, very much like the Vince Vaughn slash Jon Favreau dynamic in Swingers, except with a priest being Vince Vaughn, which makes it even more interesting of a dynamic. So what she's saying right here is like, you know, your priest friend, he's a funny guy, isn't he?
そう。先生がうちのこと指名してくれはったの。
She's saying like, oh, she's probably talking about us. Yeah. So she's saying like, you know, I think what she's saying is like, I'll tell you a little bit about how we do stuff here at our establishment. And he's saying like, all right.
飲みっぷりどすわ。
Never heard that or seen that kanji for that. I think what she's saying is something like, you know, drink all you want or something like that. I've never seen it written like that though.
先生はこういうとこ初めて来はったん？
She's saying like, is this your first time doing something like this? Also kind of implying that she thinks it is.
ああ。俺には似つかわしくない場所だ。
I can't really parse the grammar of this, but I think what he's saying is something like I've never really seen myself as the kind of person who would go to this place.
あら、そんなことあらしまへん。先生のようなお侍様が来てくれはったら。
So that, I guess, is a single kanji that represents samurai, which I've never seen. I never knew the kanji for samurai. Sensei no Yule. I think I'm very bad with like Japanese comparison sentences, which is what she's doing. She's comparing us to something else, but I can't tell which direction the comparison is going in. So I'm really terrible at this kind of grammar. But I think what she's saying is, you know, don't talk like that. Don't worry about that. Like, you, Sensei, are a lot better than the usual sort of samurai guys that come into here, which would be a funny irony because he obviously is a samurai, but he's in a different costume. But she might also be saying I think I'm gonna final answer. We're gonna say this again. She's saying like, oh, don't worry about that. Like Sensei, you're a lot better than the usual, you know, samurai clientele that come into the shop. Oh yeah, so that is the situation that's happening. Because Kiryu's trying to say like, you know, like.
はい。
And she's like, yeah.
その先生ってのやめてもらえないか。
He's saying like, can't you stop with the sensei stuff? Like.
え?
Huh?
何かこうよそよそしい感じで好きになれん。
He's saying something like, I've never seen this word before, but he's saying basically like it's, you know, to me it's a little, it kind of makes me uncomfortable a little bit.
あら、ごめんなさい。それやったらお名前教えてくれはります？
So the dynamic here that I'm not entirely aware of, and that we can trace this back to that one sentence with the comparison that I wasn't sure about, is I don't know if she was comparing us saying, you're better than those other people who come in who are samurai, as in the implication being that you are not a samurai. But I can't tell if what she might have been saying was, you're better than the other samurai who come in but you also are, like you are a better samurai client than other samurai clients. I can't tell if she knows that we're samurai or not. She probably does though, because we have a sword. Because we have a sword. But in video games, that doesn't usually count for much. Usually people overlook your swords. あら、ごめんなさい。これやったら、お前、教えてくれはれます。She's saying like, oh, I'm sorry about that. You, would you tell me like what to call you then?
え、名前
It's like, what's my name?
そう名前教えてくれはらんかったらうち先生とお呼びするしかあらしまへん。
She's saying like, what's your name? Like, you'll have to tell me your name because usually we call everybody here sensei, but you don't seem to want us to do that.
名前か
My name. If you remember, by the way, it's been a little while since the last episode. Kiryu's on the run from the government, so he doesn't necessarily want to use his name.
別にお名前くらい教えてくれはってもええやないですか。
She's saying like, what? Do you have another name? Like, or do you not want to tell me your name? Or
いやまあそうなんだが
she's like, oh, well, no, it's not like that. It's just sort of.
聞いたらあかんかった？うち失礼なことしてしもたかしら。
She's saying like, I'm really botching this, aren't I? Like, am I making a fool of myself? Like, did I just step in it? I'm trying to translate this into like English idioms, but like basically like, did I just kind of was I rude right there?
いやそんなことはない名前かそうだ
So I'm like, no, it's don't worry about it. My name. Ah, yeah, okay. And then she says like, huh?
桐生
Kiryu is my name.
え？
俺の名は桐生という
So like, all right, my name, you can call me Kiryu, which is great, by the way. The origins of the Kiryu name.
あら、桐生は言わはるの。ええ名前やね。
She says like, all right, Kiryu-san. Like, it's interesting. I've never seen it written as Han, but I guess that's like maybe a dialect thing. That might be an honorific, a different honorific. But she's saying, oh, okay, so Kiryu, it's a good name.
そうか
Saying like it, is it?
桐生言うたら神漬の国で東の京都って言われてる町の名前や。
Okay, this is going to be a little tough for me, but basically she's telling us about, if your name is Kiryu, or if you're called Kiryu, then this might mean like upper countries. In eastern Kyoto, I think she might be saying that there's a particular street that's named Kiryu. Something like that. Or no, a town that's named Kiryu.
詳しいんだな
So like, I always think this phrase is weird in Japanese to see it as an English speaker, but I just got to get used to it. He's basically saying like, huh, see, those are details, like is basically what he's saying. But what it means is like, thanks for telling me about that.
そんなことないわ。桐生織っていう織物で有名な町やから、この町の女ならみんな聞いたことがある名前や。
So she's saying like, well, don't worry about it. Kiryu is the name of actually like it's a pretty famous street, and because of that, this street, women sort of remember the name, something like that. They memorize or like listen and learn. I'm gonna say that means like remember, essentially. You remember the name; it sticks out.
なあ吉野さん
Yoshima, is that her name? I wasn't even paying attention. Yoshima might be the name of the guy who directed us. Yeah. That's the guy who directed us to the store, or to the, hostess bar or whatever. Yoshima. We gotta remember that's how to pronounce that. Yoshima. So anyway, what he's saying is, anyway, so about Yoshima. And she says like, huh?
あんたもしかして神付けの国の出じゃないのか
Kozu Ken Kuni? He's saying something like, you know what? Maybe the implication being something like, why haven't you gone to the, higher end parts of the country or something like that? Like, why haven't you left to go to those areas?
なんでそんなこと聞かはるん？
She's saying, where would you hear something like that?
その昔あんたによく似た女がいてなそいつがその町の出だった
She's saying like, or Kiryu is saying rather, a long time ago, I think what he's saying is, a long time ago I used to know a girl who really looked a lot like you. And that girl actually came from that town. Oh, he was trying to trick her. Okay, so I don't know how much you want me to be editorializing and contextualizing the story, but because of my very shaky translation, I think a lot of the subtext might be lost, so I should probably explain my thought process along with the translation. But basically, he's saying, I used to know a girl who looked a lot like you, and she came from that town, Kiryu. So I think by giving her the name Kiryu as his name, he was trying to trick her into like seeing if she recognized it, which she does.
それで？
Which kind of implies that she's the girl he's looking for. それで? And she's saying like, and then what happened?
いやもしかしたらあんたがその女と関係があるんじゃないかと思ってな
He's saying something like, I don't think that you and her are connected or like related or whatever. Oh yeah, related would be closer.
Doshita?
桐生はん、この町の女にはな、過去てもんがあらしまへん。
え
この町では今がすべて。他人の過去を知ろうとするんはいけずやわ。
つまり愚問だと
そう。でもどうしても知りたい場合はうちを見受けするしかない。桐生藩にそれができはる？
いくらかかるんだ
500両。
500
そう、500。もし桐生藩がうちのこと自由にしてくれはるんやったら、うちのすべてを教えてあげる。
ん何の騒ぎだ
It's getting a little steamy in there. So basically, she was. I couldn't understand exactly what she was saying, but basically she was implying that she might, I think she was saying that she might know something about whatever it is that he's looking for from that town, like the woman of that town. And she was kind of like coming on to him, but what she was saying was, if you pay me, I think what she's saying, if you pay me 500 units, whatever the currency is, then I'll tell you whatever you want to know. So it's kind of like the appearance of a romantic scene, but actually more of like a... It's unclear whether she was just saying that to get him to, pay for her services, or if she actually did know something. That's the part that I wasn't really sure about. Also, I love the fact that they're just standing there blinking, looking at the the crime scene or whatever. Like, they're not doing anything in this moment. So he's saying, like, basically, like, what was that?
そう、ただごとではないようだが。
Saying, like, whatever it was, it's nothing good.
お侍様、お頼みが。
Tanomiga. I should know that word, but I don't. He's saying, like, Mr. Samurai is like, something happened.
パントさん
And she's saying, like,
どうしたん
talking
だ
to him. What's the matter?
奥の座敷で遊女が切られまして。
He's saying, so at one of these places, I don't really know what it is, but he's at one of these places, a girl got cut or possibly killed, is the implication.
何？
What's that?
お酒に酔われたお武家様が刀を振り回して手がつけられへんもんで。
So he's saying, like, I think what he's saying is, like, the guy, we cut off this guy's, drinking sake, and he took out his sword, and he's kind of like breaking down, like, he took out his sword, and
駆け回りはどうしたの
I don't know what that phrase means really at the beginning, but she's basically saying, like, but what's the matter? Like, what's going on?
それが今日は店の集金で出払ってまして。
Today the money collector came by or whatever.
駆け回り？
Kakemawari. I think that's the thing that we did at the beginning of the game, before the framing device that we're in now. It's like, basically like a gangster who comes by and gets the money.
店の用心棒みてえな奴らだ。こういった騒動の収拾はそいつらがやるもんなんだが。
He's explaining basically the same thing I just said, like, that they're for its protection money.
そうなんです。そやからお侍様お願いします。あのお客さんを落ち着かせてもらえまへんやろか。
He's saying, like, yeah, that's the case. So, like, Mr. Samurai, like, will you please help us out, like, for the safety of our customers and, blah, blah, blah. And ladies and gents, we're going to call it there and continue it in just a little bit on the next episode. So thank you for watching the show. On these streams, we stream 3 times every single day, so make sure you follow if you want to see more. This has been Yakuza Kenzan, and it's a heck of a good time. I'm excited to fight somebody inside this hostess bar. And hopefully we can go to the actual hostess bar, because those are always the best parts of Yakuza games. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.